I have a story. Be me. Be at home with my parents and my kids. Drinking coffee. Having a good time. Suddenly, my mother noticed someone climbing our wall in the backyard. I'm a CCW holder. Defense mode _activated.exe. Rush to the backyard. Gun in my holster. All my fantasies of using my gun are coming to fruition. Yell. Hey! Hey, what are you doing here? See someone walking on the wall. In my head, I'm expecting to see a nigger. In my mind scenarios, I always picture black men looking like thugs ready to break into my property or people wearing a skiing mask. Surprise motherfucker.web. It's a girl. A teen. She is wearing a pink skirt, fishnets, and yellow boots. My hand still in my holster, ready to draw. My mind initially tries to reanalyze the situation. She does not constitute a threat. I'm not in immediate danger. My hand was still in my holster, ready to draw. Talk to the girl. Politely tell her to get the fuck off my property. She apologizes and leaves the area. Phone my neighbors, told them what happened. Several minutes later, my neighbor texts me a picture. They claim they have seen the same girl. Sends me this picture, see attached. /K/ In your honest opinion, what do you think they were up to? Be me on a boat at 14. Hanging out with family watching fireworks on Douglas Dam Lake in Tennessee. We drop the anchor just off the shoreline in front of this old abandoned house. While watching fireworks, I see a man standing in the upstairs window. Must be a homeless guy. Wait. That guy has no face. Just perfectly smooth, vaguely pinkish white skin. No indents around where his eyes or mouth would be if he was wearing a mask, and you could see his hair, so it wasn't a morph suit. Tell my cousin I see a guy who looks like he has no face in the window. He says he sees it too. Okay, little weird. Look back, Hess in the next window. Tell my aunt. She looks over and doesn't see him. We tell the second cousin about it and he looks over and we all see it again, aunt included. This time Hess in the doorway. Second cousin's wife sees it this time. We talk about how weird it is. We look back and Hess at the edge of the water. He just walks into the water and disappears under it. Second cousin immediately turns boat back on, retrieves anchor, and we head back to the campsite on the other side of the river. Go to bed. Wake up the next day thinking it was a weird dream. Bring it up and everyone confirms it happened. Second cousin's daughter 20 tells a story about how one time she and some people went in the house and found newspapers about local murders and obituaries glued to the walls. Try to shake it off. Years later bring it up. Again thinking it must be a false memory. Everyone I bring it up to confirms there was a man with no face and they all get visibly nervous, scared to remember it. I promise you all it wasn't a mask. The man didn't have a face. And he just stared at us, only moving great distances in the milliseconds we're all not looking. I have to live my life now knowing at least one monster is real and it may not be alone. Be me, brand new weapons squad E4. Just got moved from anti-armor to machine gunner a few months ago. Get told we're calling on 240s again even though we just did it. Our mech company who ran our battalion's range lost everyone's paperwork except their own. Totalpensulpushherdith.jpg. Whatever, just means I get to shoot again. Get to the range entirely too early. Immediately notice there are no plywood shooting platforms like every other range in the army. Not even gravel, just flat patches of red clay in the middle of the grass. We can't shoot yet, anon, those guys have to go first. It's the mech company, their guys failed to qual with the .50s at the last range so they have to shoot again. Probably the same geniuses who lost my qual tables. Wait no less than 4 hours for them to hold their Special Olympics marksmanship event. Meanwhile, it's getting progressively more overcast. Leadership tells us not to eat our MREs because we could shoot at any moment. To mech, pogs ask me and my assistant gunner what's wrong with their .50. They keep trying to shove the barrel directly into the receiver and asking why it won't go together. Genuinely don't know what to tell them. I'd always thought being rendered speechless was metaphorical. Get sick of this shit and start eating the snacks. They immediately call us over to shoot. Run over with a gun and belts. Wearing eyeglasses instead of ballistic lenses because the army refuses to issue me any eye pro inserts. Single range draw plans on gun. Willem Dafoe's Terengitski.gif. Range turns into a giantess piss king fantasy. We're confirming our zero at 600 meters and can't even see 50 meters away. I've long since given up on aiming in these conditions. I'm just watching over the Elkin and using the tracers. Realize our belts have spilled off the spare barrel bag and onto the mud. Look at assistant gunner. AG Sama, we need to dry those off. There's no time, just keep shooting. 1/3. Be me. About a year ago. Hunting hogs in the evening. Sitting in a stand on the southern bottom half of the property. Swamp in front and left. Fenced-in food plot to right. Behind me is the path in. In a stand. I have my trusty Browning A Bolt in 243 with me that I've used since I was 10. Dusk. Trucks parked about a half-mile away. Crickets, birds, normal shit in the evening air. Start hearing Mexican music way off in the distance. Now sound travels pretty good in the woods. I just assume it's some Spix blasting music by the side of the road with a flat or something. Fuck it, it's faint and far away, who gives a shit? Starts to get closer. Check electronic sign-in for the property. No one. Fuck it, they probably forgot to sign in and will do it when they get to the camper we use as a lodge. Sounds like they passed the entrance to the lodge. Starts getting closer to me. Occurs to me that no one who has access to the property would listen to music like that. Fuck. Text. My dad if anyone is supposed to be out tonight. Text my brother to see if it's one of his friends. Nope to both. Pick related is a different stand on the property to give you all an idea of how dense the Florida brush can be. Points to whoever finds the little deer in the photo first. Be me. Late summer 2021. Got a nice LARP kit together due to 2020. 2-stamp gun setup for NV. L3 unfilmed PVS-14, and a higher-end one at that. Go camping in the Jemez Mountains of New Mexico. Incredibly beautiful spot and not many other people around. Close to one of Los Alamos National Labs tech areas. This one has telescopes and I think what was an early attempt at a cosmic gamma ray detector. Decide that's a killer place to stalk or LARP. Site is still somewhat active, nobody is there but there are very obviously night surveillance cameras with powerful IR lights. Not a problem, just stick to the trees. There's a couple cabins and a garage up there too, decide to check those out, no IR lights. Suddenly there's a very bright light coming from further back in the woods. But my non-NVI can't see it, meaning this light is IR. The light is moving very rapidly through thick woods and underbrush, not at all how a human moves. Can't make out what the light is attached to, though, lots of trees in the way. Oh BTW, it's completely silent too. Now I'm getting spooked as hell. One of the cabin doors is damaged like someone already broke in. Don't want to go in but really don't want to be out with whatever the fuck that light is. There I am. Trespassing on doe property with NV and NFA items with a chest rig with some kind of invisible UFO outside and possibly even someone still inside the cabin. Watch through the window, the light zooms through the woods a couple times more, then it either fades or goes so deep in the woods I get see it. Hold perfectly still for 10 to 15 minutes, don't hear, see anything so I leave, head straight back to the car which was fortunately in the opposite direction from where the light was. Get back to camp and end up spending the whole night in the 4Runner, geared up, not sleeping a wink. I have a top secret clearance and I have no fucking clue what I saw. Be me. Hunting in southern Missouri 9 years ago. Went alone since neither of my friends were free to come along. Spend a good while waiting for deer to come along. Pretty comfortable on my truss stand. Starts getting dark and still haven't even a thing. Spit out my chew and pack up my stuff. The walk back to my truck is uneventful up until I get a strange feeling. Being watched? Load one round into my rifle but keep it in its bag so some ranger doesn't think him spitlighting. Increasingly paranoid as I reach the road, by this point empower walking down to where I had parked. Make it to my truck and set my stuff in the passenger seat, quickly starting the engine and starting off back home. That strange paranoid feeling still sticking with me as I quickly drive down the road, my Ford's yellowed headlights doing little to illuminate the pitch-black road. Briefly stop at a truck stop for a brief piss before getting back on the road. Finally get home and prepare to sleep. Have trouble sleeping, still feeling like him in the woods. Like something's still watching me. Wake up, a horrible realization hits me. I'm still on the Tristan but there's something more horrifying. There's shit in my camo pants. Never did figure out who or what shit my pants, never gone hunting again since. Be me. Staying at my family's vacation cabin in the woods. Plumbing is kinda fucked up at the time so toilet is for dumping only. Pissing spot is outside against a steep hill. Dim light to my left. Total darkness to my right. Have flashlight though. Hear rustling up the hill mid-piss. Pull flashlight out and look up. Looks like a raccoon or giant rat, can't tell. Put flashlight back in pocket and continue pissing pretty hard. Hear leaves crunching beside me. Figure it's another raccoon, BFR, big fucking rat. Don't feel like busting out the light again. Begin pissing slightly harder into the darkness then holster my dong and go inside. Turn on CCTV camera TV to see what was out there. The pissing spot is just out of view of camera number 3. A bear wanders into view shaking its head like a dog that just climbed out of that pool he's not supposed to be in. It trips on the ground, then wanders away in the opposite direction. Whoops. Not particularly is very spooky but I have no idea of what sort of animal it could have been. Be me. Be Scoutmaster for kids between the ages of 8 and 10. Be away on camp with all our age groups. One of the children decided to throw a tantrum and run away upon being told that he needs to wash his eating utensils. He's not to be found within the camp area. Fug, DDDDD. Decide to send maybe 20 adults into the woods with walkie-talkies to look for him. Head into the woods due northwest with another dude. Walk through forest and over old stone walls for maybe an hour hollering this idiot child's name. Start following an old logging road since it has good elevation, which we reason is going to carry our voices better and help us see him. Follow it for half an hour or so, hollering all the while. Until something starts responding to our shouting. Sounds an animal mimicking our voices, tone and everything. It comes from away from the camp, so it could hardly have been another impromptu search party fucking with us. Don't think it was out on echo either since it only responded some of the time. At this point the camp organizers call us on the walkie-talkie and tell us to head back and get on with the rest of the day. I find the child hiding behind a tree sometime later but a shrinkage of 1 to some 200 participants would still have been acceptable. Info you just heard another Scoutmaster having illicit relationships with a child. Again, probably an animal but I have no idea of what kind. Be me. Served in SEAL Team 69. Racked up 100 dead Dune Coons in the 1000 tours in Iraq. Awarded 9 Medal of Honors by the President. 12 Navy Crosses. Local Walmart doesn't even let pay for my groceries. Local range lets me keep my brass. Locals know me for my massive list of achievements. Were they real? They were in my mind. Be Don Shipley. Lose purpose after you retire. Grows fat and irritable. Becomes internet hall monitor. Was not thanked by the president. Does not have over 100 kills in Iraq. Never saw combat. Sees endlessly while I cut to the front of lines and get military discounts. Lol.